to see the Land Fest thing that they are putting on, and we're mostly going to see the Malpass Brothers, but who else is going to be there? The Gibson Brothers, of course, Daly and Vincent, some other people that I can't think of right now.
Then we just and she whispered, I need you. Take me away from here and be my man. And I looked in her eyes and I saw it, the reflection of my wedding band. The man who preached the funeral said it really was a simple way to die. He lay down to rest one afternoon and never opened up his eyes. They hired me and Fred and Joe to dig the grave and carry out some chairs. It took us 7 hours and I guess we must have drunk a case of beer. We'd like to do y'all Merle Haggard song right now. 40 miles to the nearest gravel road. We cut our life in the ponderosa pine. We sweated hard to beat the winter snow, but the cabin's up and we got lots of time. What have you got planned tonight, Dinah? Would you consider lying in my arms? I love you more than ever now, Dinah, and I'm sure you're the reason I was born.
Today I'm making some soup. So I'm going to get all my stuff cut. You can probably hear the chicken that I'm cooking separately. So there's my chicken that I've got going. I just wanted to kind of brown it a little bit so that way be little crispy bites in the soup. I turned it off and I'm just going to let it continue to sit there. Like so. And then it says ginger, fresh ginger, but I actually don't have any on hand right now, unfortunately. So I'm just going to use some ginger powder. See what I think. I'll be honest, guys, when I cook, for the most part, I don't usually follow a recipe too closely. I just kind of look at it to get the idea, and then I just kind of do my own thing. Probably because our dad does that a lot, and we were really fortunate, or I think fortunate, to grow up in a house where mom and dad both cooked. We hardly ever eat out. I probably eat out more now than I ever have, and we just have always cooked. So I just kind of, I don't know, I guess sort of do it intuitively. Especially with something like this that's not too hard. I mean, you just throw in a bunch of stuff you like in a pot and cook it, and it'll probably turn out good. I mean, as far as soup goes. Anyway, well, that garlic is brown, so I'm going to toss in some carrots. Alright, and go the onions. I think the recipe actually called for green onions, but again, I don't have any of that. So I'm just going to do these instead. And you know what? I'm going to change my mind, guys. I'm not going to cut up this pepper. I don't think that recipe actually called for it. And I'm going to have zucchini noodles in it anyway. And with the chicken and the stock, I think that'll be enough. And it'll kind of give it more of the flavor I'm looking for, I think, if I leave out the pepper. So I'm not going to put that in. It really depends how you like your soup, but I think one of the keys is when you're cooking the vegetables like this to not get them overcooked, because most soups once you add the liquid, you still have to cook it for a little bit, and if you're not careful, they get mushy. So I am going to go ahead and add the broth, and I'm just using some vegetable broth. I really like this soup too because it just feels light. It's not like a really heavy soup. Sometimes you eat soups and they're good, but then you're like, whoa, that's pretty heavy. This soup is not really like that. Now we gotta clean that cast iron. Ooh, that looks pretty. That'll be good. Before I start cleaning this pan, I just want to state, this is just how I clean them. It's not the one and only way to clean cast iron, but as you guys know, if you've seen even some of our videos, but especially Mom's videos, her channel, Celebrating Appalachia, I'll put a link to that in the description. Most of the pans, like the pans that we have, we don't have anything but cast iron. Like cast iron is all we have. That's all we've used really ever since I can remember. So you have to know how to clean them, and it's kind of a trick, sort of. It takes a little bit of time, but this is just how I do it. So this pan is still hot. It's not super hot, but you never, ever, ever want to add cold water to a cast iron pan that's hot because it could crack it. So this is hot water from the sink. It's as hot as it will go, and this has already been sitting here cooling a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and pour that in first. And when you pour it in, you're really just looking to cover the surface. You don't need to dump the whole thing in because once this gets hot and it starts sizzling, you don't want to be splashing that on your hand. So it really only takes that much. And then I'm going to cut it on high because you just want this to sizzle. In a minute, you'll see it's going to start really moving and creating a lot of bubbles, and then all you have to do is scrape. But the most important thing about this is it has to be, or needs to be, with a wood utensil. You do not ever, if you can help it, want to put metal on these cast iron pans. It will scratch the heck out of them. It ruins them. Like, the only time really ever that I use a metal utensil with this is maybe if I'm flipping a fried egg, and even then I try to be real careful getting under it and then done, because metal will really scratch these and really take a finish off. But you can tell that it's already starting to scrape a lot of that off, and it's not even boiling yet. Sometimes if I'm in a rush, and especially like if you cook an egg and the pan's already seasoned really well, especially if you're frying it, a lot of the times you can get away with, or at least I seem to be able to get away with it, just kind of how I do it. Like I said, sometimes I'll just take them to the sink, turn on the water really hot, and just scrape them while the water's going. But that's really only if there's not tons of stuff stuck to it. After frying chicken like this and there's lots of crispy bits, you really need to boil it. But you can really see it starting to sizzle now, and this is the perfect time to scrape. I will say though, I usually take a towel and hold on to the handle because the handle is very hot, and that will keep the pan from moving on you. And then you just scrape. You know, if it's really stuck on there, you can kind of scrape like that, but mostly I just kind of push. And you want to get the sides too, and these kind of wooden spatulas are pretty good. You can just take them up onto the side. It usually doesn't crust to the side as bad, and the steam will get that. So after you've done this, you want to dump this water. We dump it outside because it's really hot to go down the drain, and I can just open the door, step off the deck, and dump it in the yard. So that's what I would recommend if you can. If you do have to dump it down the sink, I would definitely run the water cold while you did it, just so it don't hurt the pipes. You'll notice I left the eye on. This is drying really fast, so I don't have a lot of time. So I'll wipe it with a paper towel real quick to get out some of the liquid, and then you've got to oil the pan. This is the biggest thing about taking care of cast iron, is you have got to oil it. So we keep a thing under the sink, a container with this rag that's got oil on it. And you want to do this over the heat, because if the pan is hot, those pores kind of the pan are open, and it will soak up all this good oil. So you want to do that while it's hot. You know, you do have to be careful not to burn yourself. And then every once in a while, I don't do it every time, but I'll get the bottom of the pan. And again, you do have to be careful because it's really hot. And then usually at that point, I just cut it off. The pan's already really hot itself. I've oiled it. I'll just leave it on the eye and let it stay there. They do not make pans like this anymore. They just do not exist. I think that this one is a Griswold. Let me get my towel back here because this is very hot, and I'll see if I can show you guys. Yes, this is a Griswold. There's no telling how old this is. I'm sure this is one that come from Turtle, our friend, so thank you, Turtle. But I love these pans. The only company that I have found that makes newer ones, like the newer company that makes them like the old style, is called Field Company. And I'll also leave a link in the description, but we also have some Field Company pans. This is a Field Company pan. It's not seasoned as well as you can see, but it's pretty good. But they make them kind of like the old style. Let me turn it around where you guys can actually see. And they are really nice as well. And they've got this sweet little slick, skinny handle right there. So they definitely make them a little bit like the older ones. I mean, these are really good pans. I love these. We have a set of them and we use them all the time. So definitely look them up if you would like, because these Griswolds and Wagners and Piqua, all those kind of pans are hard to find. This stuff is really cool, guys. It's better for you really than soy sauce. It kind of tastes like soy sauce, but it definitely has a coconut taste. So if you don't like coconut, this would probably ruin your soup. But for me, I love everything coconut. And it doesn't taste super coconutty. It just gives it a different kind of flavor that I think is good. And you do want to put them at the end because you don't want it to get like super soggy if they cook super long. I mean, they are vegetable based anyway, so they're not going to stand up like a noodle that's, you know, wheat based. At this point, I would just let it simmer like maybe 3 more minutes or so. Not too long so the noodles don't get soggy. And then after that, it'll be ready to eat. I'll give you guys a close-up of the soup. I think it'll be pretty good. As you can see, it's just kind of brothy. We got the noodles, the carrots. It's usually pretty tasty, so I'm looking forward to trying it. I don't know if you guys can see the steam, but this soup is really hot. Like it kind of hurts to hold on to the bowl. But that's the best way to eat soup, is when it's good and hot. So I will take a small bite. Smells really good. We have these little lizards everywhere. We call these blue-tailed lizards because the blue-tailed are skinks. He's cute. And there was a little baby one over here. You can see him there. He's itty bitty. Little boy. I'm gonna check for eggs. We got 3 eggs today. I tell you folks, it never gets old coming out to your yard to get eggs. We are at a gig. Corie disappeared there for a minute. I'm still here. Because I'm holding the phone in my right hand. And it's actually a really pretty place. And there is a lake. The lake is here, yeah. So we thought we would come down here and look at it really quick. This is really it. What the day in the life is about is just like literally a day in what our life is. Like, what are we doing? Random stuff. Check this place out. Check out that view. It's pretty. There's houses all over it. It's pretty though. So we are coming across more ducks here. Look at them. No, they're bobbing for... I think they're... Did you see that? That was a ginormous fish. Did you get that on video? I'm pretty sure I did get it, yeah. It was huge. It just come all the way out of the water and went back in. Now that duck is swimming right for it. Well, the ducks are doing that. They're cleaning. They're dipping down and they're preening, yeah, like how chickens do. And they're getting water and throwing it up on their backs and cleaning themselves off. They're so funny with their little butts in the air like that. But essentially, ducks ain't nothing but aquatic chickens. That's what this is about. They act just like chickens. I'm sure they do. They just go upside down, basically. No, they're so cute. Oh, look at the little butt heads. Oh, look at them, just like butt in the air, don't care. Doing some evening cleaning and relaxing. That is so funny. This is such a beautiful place. A beautiful place that we live in. These cannons, though, are really interesting. I'm not sure, like, that's part of the decor here. I don't understand that. Another really interesting thing is it is very, very cold out here because, well, compared to what it has been, a cold front's moved through. Okay, let's get closer up to the ducks. Oh my goodness, that is just cracking me up. That's killer. That's darling.
I tell you what, is that an 80 something?
88.
That's a sweet ride.
Thank you.
Man, somebody has babied the heck out of that thing.
One owner,
For it to be
73,000 original miles.
Oh my god.
Leland Corporation.
It's barely been broke in.
Oh yeah.
Where'd you find it,
Look,
Joey?
here's what I love, Tipper. Look at this. Y'all love this. You know, now you're chauffeured in a car like this. There's a desk in the back, you see, with an inkwell, so you can fill out your stock reports as snurdly drives you to the exchange.
Yeah.
Those are not hubcaps.
That's a real wheel.
Those are really with the wheels.
Real
So
wheel.
supposed to see the lug
And,
sticking through them.
Let's see here. Oh yeah, like the old 50s Ford.
Pretty good shape.
Big inline 6 with Hemi heads. This one's 10 times the car that 94
That
was.
green one. I like that green
When the
one.
green one, I mean, they're the same car, but this one's the Walden Plus, and that's
Yeah,
a
I
little
can tell
bit
it's a
Yeah.
higher level.
higher level.
Yeah, son, this thing's slick. Where did this come from? Where'd you find it?
Mineral Bluff, Georgia,
Get out.
by
Is that-
way of Sarasota, Florida.
Is that little jets to spray off the
Yeah,
headlights?
yeah. Make sure that they're
How cool is
clean,
that?
you see,
Get
so
out
that
of
you can
town.
go down the
You
road.
can't have your headlamps
No, you
looking-
cannot have one. Good
looking
heavens, they're
smudged.
faulty. One windshield wiper,
That
2 is
British-
just vulgar. You have one.
Oh, yeah.
Did you put the
No,
Union
that-
Jack on there? Is
No,
that
that guy put that on there. He had everything. I've got a leather-bound book with all the receipts.
Wow.
That's in better shape paint than my truck.
Yeah,
And,
in a lot better shape than mine.
Look at here. He's got all these spare parts, but this is what kills me about it. The original owner's box with, get this, here's the VHS.
Jaguar
Get Jaguar cassettes. VHS is welcome to your new Jaguar, and the owner's scroll. Crazy, you know.
Today I'm making some soap. This is actually a batch that someone wanted me to make because they're going to give it as Christmas gifts, which is a really good idea. I often make soap as well to give for Christmas gifts, so hit me up if you want to do that. Our email, my email, is in the description there for you guys if you are interested in that. Otherwise, I'm trying to keep lots of soap stocked in the Etsy shop. It kind of runs out fast though, which is good. Thank you to everyone who's bought some. I've got a couple batches sitting ready to list, but since it does have to set 4 weeks, it takes a little time. And thinking about Christmas, if you did want to do that, we're getting up on that time because it does have to set 4 weeks. So I also listed yesterday some unscented soap. So it's just regular soap, but there's no scent in it, no color, no nothing. Just really plain, which is good for sensitive skin. All right, let's go back to the other one. Why is his name not Tammy? Because her name's Tammy and she's driving the car. That could be her daughter's car.
No, it's her car.
No,
he,
it's-
he restored it for her, and that's why he's riding with her. And she's
Yep,
driving.
but she's really proud, but she's a little bit nervous because she doesn't want to wreck. Pretty car. What kind of car did you say you thought it was, Dad?
Ford Fairlane.
Pretty.
It's a beautiful car, and they did a wonderful job. Good for them.
Got at the traffic. There's like one truck in front of that car.
It's not a lot of traffic to me, yeah. What's my hair doing? That's the problem.
Video is hard. Videography is hard. Okay. It's a beautiful lake. And there's a gigantic canyon if you're feeling violent. I'm gonna head out.